Hello guys, it's me here with another video. Now, I've been taking my Mini to bits. Let me show you. Okay, so what I have here, basically I've removed the body shell first, and it's just held on by 4 screws, 2 at the front, 2 at the back. Quite difficult to remove. I need to replace that one there, but I can get one from a DIY store. Now, the reason I had to take it a bit... Oh, did you think I was going to take this one to bits? No, don't take anything to bits unnecessarily. You know, you really have to think about it. And it's the same with something this size as well. Okay, and the reason I took it a bit, my wife bought me this years ago before we got this one. I'd left the batteries in. I left it for a long time, the batteries in. Now the controller, I fortunately had taken the batteries out, so that's perfectly okay. But you know, when you leave batteries in an electrical item for a long time, they always leak acid, and that's what's happened here. So I've undone this, and if I take this out, out comes the battery box, and there you go. All the acid has eaten away. And I've tried the old trick with white vinegar and a Q-tip, but some of the things have, like along here, have broken off, so this is no good. Unfortunately, because you can actually unscrew these 4 screws, take this off, which I will do in the next instalment, because it's corroded just there. Fortunately, the thing underneath is perfectly okay. So get rid of that. What I've gone and purchased from eBay is one of these, okay, which will fit in there quite nicely. Okay, so we can leave those things in there. I thought I'd have to cut those things out, but actually that fits in quite nicely. I'll probably do it the other way around, like that way around, like so. This will fit in there like that to keep the batteries in, which would be nice. There's a couple of screw holes there. I might even just glue it in, but I'll thread these 2 wires through, take this top off, and then do some clever little bit of soldering to solder them onto the circuit. That'll be the next bit. Okay, so folks, I'm inside and on some humble workbench. So what I have done so far, I've undone these 4 screws, and the top comes off, and see all the gubbins inside, which consists of a circuit board. Now, I flipped the car over to show you inside. Now, the old battery box has these 2 contacts inside here, here and here, which when slipped in fits onto, slips onto these contacts here and here, and they slip in that way. So the contacts, so what's going to happen is this thing is going to go in here, and there's no contacts. We're going to thread the wires through. These 2 metal contacts here are going to be removed. Now I've had a look, and if we flip it back over the right way, be careful not to damage the aerial, that's just soldered on. Now this circuit board can obviously be removed and unscrewed. Now the 2 contacts, if you see, if I bring it closer to you, are held in by a little screw just there and there. Now I've been looking for some screws to hold this down. I haven't been able to manage. Anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Right, let's unscrew this and unscrew that and sort things out. Okay, so got the 2 little contacts out, these little things here, and the little screws. There's 2 of them, 1, 2. So we can get rid of those things. I don't need those things anymore. But those 2 little screws can be useful for the screw holes on this, and they are a perfect fit. So ideal. I can just make a little bradawl hole through the plastic on the other side as we screw them in. Now, one other advantage is there's these 2 little plugs here that plug into the circuit board. So I can remove that, put it out the way while I play around with soldering irons and screwdrivers. That's brilliant. Okay, so now what we've got to do is thread these wires through a hole. So just move these 2 screws out the way, and let's get this done. Okay, whoops. Right, here we go. Now, I can see a hole just there by the switch, and it's probably the best solution. So, let's thread these babies through the hole. And in we go. Right. Should be a perfect fit. There we go. So we can solder the red to the red, black to the black, which goes through the switch, and it all should be good. And just make sure everything fits. We'll just get the cover, wherever we put that, somewhere. I'll put the cover on to make sure it all. Oh yes, here we are. There's the cover up here. So that will fit on. Hopefully everything should fit nice. If I can, he says, as he can try and make it fit. Ah, right, that needs a little bit of jigging around. There we go. Okay. And as he says, bit of jigging around. No, it's that way up. So there's no to say it can't go that way up, but yeah, that looks like it's going to fit. Okay. So a bit more playing around, and I think this thing is all ready for action. Brilliant. I'll see the end result. Okay, right, so it's all done. So I'll just flip the car over and explain. So you saw me put these in, and yeah, it was quite a job. These two screws here and here, I actually had to use this thing to try and make little holes in, and then screw them in using one of these screwdrivers. Very clever. If you ever scrap a car, get the screwdriver out, because you can flip it around. You've got a slot, flat head, flip it over, and you've got a posi drive. Very useful things. So screwed that in, wires in. You saw me put the wires through. Now what I have done is right here, I have this wire here soldered to the switch, the black, because the remaining black wire, just pulled it off and soldered that on. The red, I twisted it, soldered it together. Now some of you guys are probably screaming at me because I just slipped a bit of shrink wrap over it and shrinked it. Probably not the best way of doing it, but hey, it's only a radio controlled car. Well, a toy radio controlled car, so not too worried about that. One other thing, so you probably notice the screws for the lid and the circuit board, I put them back in so I don't lose them. It's a habit I've got into from repairing cars and bicycles, because you put your bolts and screws somewhere and you can't find them. Put them back in the same place where you got them out, you can find them. Okay, I'll put this back together again, put the batteries in, and you'll see the final result. Okay, so it's all back together, all on, screwed it on, and if we flip it over carefully, so I knocked the camera last time and had to restart the video, but okay, so we have 8 AAA batteries, and in the controller we have one of these 9-volt batteries, you know, the sort of plugs on. That's in, so that's all ready to go. Stick this thing in, all ready to go. And there's a switch just here. That's a switch that I told you about, and success, and it works. I mean, it's notably it's what's regarded as a toy RC, meaning it's either full speed forwards or full speed backwards, so there's no variance in speed, and it's full lock right and full lock left, obviously because it's upside down, so that's why it's different. But yeah, what they've done on some YouTube videos, they've ripped the gubbins out and put like hobby grade RC, so that you've got a bit more variant in the steering and the speed. That's something that you can do in the future, but it works for now. The other thing we can do in the future is the body shell, which will go on if you flip it over. The roof windscreen can be unscrewed and taken off, which is nice, so maybe we can do some FPV. Sky's the limit. So I'll put this back together, and thanks guys.